Hello, this is Dan with the training department again, and today we're going to be going over restrictions on the high side. Yesterday we built this mock-up, and what we did is put 4 valves in to create restrictions where we normally hear techs telling us, so we can tell you what the pressures are. We can tell you the amp draw and the voltage. Now, right now the refrigerator's been running overnight. I just shut a door because it cycled off on temperature. So we're running a little high, about 6, about 80. Earlier it was at about 0 and 90, so we're pretty close. Voltage is 198, amp draw is 0.27. Anything from 3 to 6 would be okay on the amp draw. Right now it's a little low because there's been no load. Nobody's, except for me opening the freezer a little bit to get it to come back on. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to describe to you, I'm going to actually show you where we're creating the restriction and let you see what the pressures would be. And we're going to talk about it so that in the field you can better diagnose. Now, the first thing on any no-cool is to get your temperatures in the refrigerator and freezer and verify that you actually have a problem. You'd be surprised how many times over the last 30 years I've gone out for no-cool, get out there and it's 0 and 37 and it's the customer's perception. So always get your temperatures. So let's say we've got our temperatures and yes, we're no cool. Now, what we're going to show you could happen anytime, but a lot of times these restrictions are more apt to be found after a first repair. And then it's due to either too much lock prep or too much solder, crap left in the system, something of that nature. So we're going to go through each one of these guys. So what I want to start off with is a couple of them that we see and hear people tell us right off the bat. When you teach refrigeration, it's a circle, but you always got to start somewhere. So that's where I'm going to start. It's the compressor and the discharge line. Somebody will go out, come call in, say, I put a compressor in yesterday and the lady called me back, it's not cooling. I get out there and the compressor won't run but for a minute or two, and I get a 6 blink code. Okay, what we're going to tell you is you probably soldered up your discharge line, and that's what happened. So what I want you to do is, everything's normal right now. I am going to close this valve and shut off the discharge. Now you'll notice my voltage is climbing, my amp draw is climbing, and my gauges, and these gauges are plumbed in right where you would have your gauges in the field, on the dryer and on the process tube. And what's going to happen is a lot of times your pressures will not even have time to react to what's happening before the compressor shuts down and you get a 6 blink code. Usually within a minute of that restriction and the unit being plugged in, it's going to run, and like I said, amp draw high, voltage high. Pressures are not doing a whole lot, but my goodness, look at those voltages. We're already up to 369, 368. Amp draw is way up there, and what's about to happen is we're probably going to pop a 6 blink code and my compressor's going to shut down, because we're trying to pump that refrigerant out and we can't get it past right here. So the compressor's struggling and it's just trying harder and harder and harder. And on the 6 blink code, if you read the description, it's telling you could have a dirty condenser, dirty or bad condenser fan motor, you could have a refrigerant leak, or you could have a high side restriction. And we haven't seen that many high side restrictions flashing a 6 blink code in the past, but we're starting to see them now. Now, we are pulled down, and we'd pulled a little bit there, but there's our 6 blink code. So guys, sometimes it happens. Now, mine is 6 inches out. If the solder joint or lock ring joint right here was plugged, that 6 blink code would have happened a whole lot quicker. But you did see we were starting to pull down a little bit, and our pressure here was going down, not up, because on that side over there, you just weren't getting the gas. It was actually being sucked into the evaporator. So you just weren't moving anything. So that's what happens when you get a restriction at the discharge. So any of these restrictions, it's the same thing. You're going to have to recover the refrigerant, go out there, find out what screwed up, correct it, replace a part if necessary, or correct the joint, then put it all back together, leak check, pull a vacuum, and recharge. So what I want to do now is reset my unit. So I'm going to unplug it. I'm going to do away with my restriction, and I don't know if you could hear that over the microphone, but as soon as I did that, it was like, you just heard the refrigerant flowing through. And now I'm going to go ahead and plug it back in.